My brother did that in our house.
No, what if I got down? If I got down when I jumped down?
We just bring the whole class out here for. Here's how you
help me get down.
Yeah.
You really could climb up the wall.
Nothing. To tell you the truth.
There's one, he died. I don't know anything, I don't keep up with Polish news too much.
Well, I just know that there was a plane crash in Russia, and that it was in heavy fog, that his wife and a lot of other dignitaries were on board. I know that the funeral was last week during all the ash from Iceland, and so from the Icelandic volcano. So I know, I mean, a fair amount. I don't know, is that what you're looking for?
The news depresses me.
I read the newspaper is my main way of getting news. I read the New York Times online every day.
I'll read about it sometimes. I'll check on news. I'll get newspapers, or I'll check on Google or something. But I don't read. I don't watch the news.
And I listen to NPR every day. Yeah.
A couple times a day.
I haven't looked at Facebook today.
That my brother has a girlfriend.
Photos that we took yesterday were up on Facebook.
Well, a friend of mine embedded a video that he had shot of a contra dance, of this really tricky move in a contra dance, and he embedded it in his Facebook account and sent me the link, and that was very cool.
Jesse Edgerton thought that two guys dipping each other at a contra dance was beautiful, or something like that. I think that was there was some kind of picture. That's the only thing I remember looking at.
I used to use AIM and MySpace, and now I don't really use either of those. I use Facebook, but I guess I'm just more dependent on it now.
I think it's kind of bad that people need to learn to be a little bit more personal. I don't know. I think too much technology can make you impersonal. I don't think that's a good trait to have. I mean, it can, and I've felt the effects of it myself. It's hard to talk to people like face to face if you don't. If you just sit behind a computer and type to them all the time. I don't know how it's going to affect people.
I mean, it's distracting sometimes because I would rather, text my friends or get on Facebook than I would write my papers. Yeah, it distracts me a lot.
Yeah. I guess if I see stuff I don't like on there, then it puts me in a bad mood or anything like that.
I just got Facebook last summer, and it's a lot more distracting when I get on my computer now than it was before. I purposely didn't get it till last summer because I knew I'd be really distracted while trying to do all my work in high school and stuff.
I mean, it helps me keep in contact with my friends that are at other schools and stuff like that, and if someone has a problem or I'm supposed to meet someone and I'm on Facebook, then they can chat with me real quick and we can figure out information.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of nice. I've actually, Facebook, I mean, that helped me. There was a boy that I went to middle school with who moved up to West Virginia, and I hadn't heard from him in forever, and I'd had a good time. I mean, he was like one of my best friends. I'd never heard from him for like 5 or 6 years, and just the other day he added me on there and said, "Oh yeah, how you doing? Remember this?" and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, wow, that's kind of neat. What's happening with you? He's like, "Oh, married my childhood sweetheart. have a kid now, all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, that sounds nice. I mean, that was kind of neat. That was something that was kind of good about that.
It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like my stack of books, I would probably finish half of them.
But I mean, I don't think it'd be a problem. It'd just be different.
It would be like when I go backpacking. I mean, it's not that hard to have that day. To just go out in the woods, and just to be out in the woods, and just to listen to the sound of things. Although, even when you're out in the woods these days, even when you're really far away, like I was up in the mountains in Turkey, in the eastern part of Turkey and the northeastern part of Turkey, near the Georgian border, and those mountains, are pretty remote. But even so, there will be planes flying overhead. And it's hard to get away from technology of some sort. I've heard, and a friend of mine just told me that on 9/11 he was rock climbing, and he had backpacked in, and then they were rock climbing, and he didn't know what had happened. And they had this incredible day rock climbing. And then it was only after they came home that they found out what happened, and they realized, oh, there were no planes in the sky that day.
I feel like our life is very dependent on it, but I feel like their whole life is going to be solely dependent on technology. Everything. It's like kind of like the Jetsons. Like they have technology all the time, and I feel like that's going to be what it's going to come down to.
My younger cousins are like 12 and 7, and she'll take her father's phone and text me during the day, just to see how I am. But I think it's really strange that she's 7 years old and can text full sentences to me on a touchscreen phone, because I couldn't have even thought about doing something like that when I was her age.
Well, the thing is, it's like okay, look right here, these bricks, right? So I'm surrounded by this human-made stuff, and it's not, it's a little bit sad that so much of our lives is something made by human beings. Sometimes you have to here's a rock. Now this rock wasn't made by a human being. This is a rock. And it's not regular. Its contours are defined by the world of nature, and there's something special about the humility that comes from responding to something that human beings didn't create or control. And I feel like sometimes we have to pay attention to the rock instead of the brick. We have to pay attention to the chicken instead of the McNugget. We have to pay attention to the sun instead of some picture on your desktop of the sun. Go out and actually feel the sun, the vitamin D on your own skin, your human skin out in the sun, instead of just some image of a celestial body that pales in comparison.
All right, thank you.
My phone kept buzzing.